Women in tech have made great strides in the industry. But the journey to get there has not always been easy. There are still barriers that women face when it comes to entering and succeeding in the tech world. To help highlight these stories, a podcast series discussing the journeys of women in tech can be a powerful tool. The podcast series should focus on the stories of real women in tech, highlighting their successes, struggles, and lessons. It should feature women from all backgrounds and stages in their careers, from recent graduates to experienced professionals. By hearing from these women, listeners will get an inside look at the tech industry and be inspired by their stories. The podcast should also feature interviews with industry leaders, such as CEOs, executives, and venture capitalists. These interviews will give listeners a glimpse into the challenges that women face in tech and how they have overcome them. It will also allow listeners to learn from the successes of these leaders and how they have created successful companies and products. The podcast should also feature interviews with experts, such as mentors, coaches, and thought leaders. These interviews will give listeners insight into the ways that women can succeed in tech and the resources available to them. They will also provide advice and guidance that will be helpful for those just starting out in the industry. Finally, the podcast should include interviews with the people behind the scenes, such as engineers, product designers, and UX researchers. These interviews will provide listeners with an understanding of the roles that these professionals play in the tech world and what it takes to succeed in these positions. By creating a podcast series discussing the journeys of women in tech, listeners can gain an understanding of the industry and be inspired by the stories of those who have made it. Through interviews with industry leaders, experts, and professionals, the podcast will provide listeners with valuable insight and advice to help them succeed. In addition, it will help to create a community of people who are passionate about the tech industry and who want to support and learn from each other.